Hello, my friends, and welcome. Before we dive in, I want you to close your eyes for a second. Picture this, it's a summer evening in 1965. The air smells like freshly cut grass, and somewhere nearby, a transistor radio softly plays the Beatles. Kids laugh and chase each other, playing tag in the street. The world feels slower, gentler. You can stroll down the block and know everyone by name. Life somehow feels like it has room to breathe. Now blink your eyes open and fast forward to today. We live in a world of instant communication, cars that practically drive themselves, and medical care that adds decades to our lives. Yet sometimes life feels louder, busier, and maybe a little lonelier. This isn't a video about picking sides or deciding which era was better. It's about reflecting on what we gained, what we lost, and what we can learn from the changes we've lived through. It's about remembering what made the 60s special and seeing how we can carry the best of that time into our lives today. So grab a warm drink, settle into a cozy chair, and let's take a heartfelt journey together through memory, meaning, and the bridge between past and present. Golden economy and everyday stability. Let's start with something that shaped daily life for so many: financial stability. Back in the 1960s, many families experienced a kind of security that's rare today. One parent's job, often the dads, could cover the mortgage, put food on the table, and even fund a modest vacation. Owning a home wasn't a far-off dream, it was part of building a future. I remember my uncle telling me about buying his first house in 1963. He paid less than 3 times his yearly salary. That house saw 4 kids grow up, graduations, birthday parties, and by the time the oldest left for college, the mortgage was long paid off. He said with a smile,
We worried about keeping the yard neat, not about making the next rent payment.
Today, even with all our progress, many families juggle multiple jobs, carry debt, and wonder if homeownership is ever within reach. But here's a thought. While we can't turn back prices, we can keep alive some timeless habits: saving, sharing resources, and measuring wealth not just by money, but by stability, generosity, and community support. Funny story, my aunt once tried to teach me how to budget back then. She said,
You just buy what you need, and don't forget, if you want ice cream, you'd better save for it.
simple, right? Maybe there's wisdom in that simplicity. What's one habit you think we could bring back to help us feel more secure today? Let me know in the comments. Community and the front porch life. Now let's talk about connection. The 60s were marked by closeness. Neighbors dropped by unannounced. Kids played in the streets until dark. Front porches weren't just architectural features, they were gathering spots. If you were sick, someone brought soup. If you needed help, someone was there. Contrast that with today, where we're connected online more than ever, yet many feel isolated. We scroll through updates instead of stopping by to chat. Friendships sometimes feel digital, not real. I know a woman in her 70s who still remembers Friday night block dinners in 1968. Kids running wild, adults sharing food and stories under string lights.
Nobody felt alone.
She told me.
We were all part of something.
Here's a quick story. One summer, my neighbor's cat went missing. Instead of just posting on Facebook, the whole block came together. Search parties, flyers, even a makeshift lost cat phone tree. That's front porch life in action. We can bring some of that back. Presence is priceless. Relationships need more than likes or messages. Call a friend, invite someone over, wave to your neighbor. A little real connection can bring back that lost warmth. What's your favorite memory of community? Share below, I'd love to hear. The spirit of change, The 1960s were a decade of bold voices and brave hearts. The civil rights movement, women's liberation, Protests for peace, they were noisy, messy, and full of hope. People risked comfort and safety to demand a fairer world. My cousin once told me about joining a bus trip during the Freedom Rides in 1961. He said,
We weren't brave because we weren't afraid we were brave, because we couldn't stay silent anymore.
today activism still thrives, but often from behind screens. The battles for fairness and compassion continue, but sometimes the courage to show up in person feels harder to find. Funny thing, my cousin also joked that the 60s protests had better snacks.
You can't survive on Instagram likes alone.
He said with a grin. True change always requires showing up. Whether standing for fairness, kindness, or truth in your community, your voice and presence matter more than ever. What cause moves your heart? If you feel comfortable, share it below. Health, aging, and the gift of more time. In the 60s, life expectancy was shorter, and old age often meant slowing down early. Medical care was limited, and healthy aging wasn't a common focus. Today, many live well into their 80s and 90s with energy to spare. Advances in medicine, better nutrition, and active lifestyles mean aging isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving. A neighbor of mine turned 91 last year and still teaches dance classes twice a week. She says,
We didn't have this kind of energy back. Then it feels like we've been given bonus years.
here's a funny little story. She once tripped during class and joked,
At least, I'm keeping them on their toes.
laughter really is good medicine. Time is a gift the 60s could only dream of. We can honor it by staying active, keeping our minds sharp, and cherishing relationships because long life is richer when lived with purpose and love. How do you like to stay active or engaged? Share your favorite ways below. Technology servant or master? In the 60s, the height of technology was a color TV, a Polaroid camera, and a home telephone that everyone shared. Communication had natural pauses. You waited for letters, anticipated phone calls, and had time to think before responding. Today, technology is everywhere. We're always reachable, always scrolling, always on. It's miraculous, but it can also be overwhelming and strangely isolating. A grandfather once told me,
I love that I can video chat with my grandkids anytime. But sometimes I'd give up every gadget just to have them burst through the door, the way we did with Grandma.
funny story, he also said,
Back then, if you wanted to avoid a phone call, you just didn't answer the doorbell.
can you imagine? Tech should connect, not consume. We can reclaim quiet moments to write real letters, turn off screens at dinner, or just sit with someone without distractions. The best connections are still face-to-face. What's one tech habit you'd like to change? Let me know. Freedom and self-expression. The 60s were a time of expression and individuality. Fashion broke rules. Music told stories of rebellion and love. And for the first time, many felt free to live differently from their parents. A woman told me about painting flowers all over her Volkswagen van in 1969 and driving across the country.
Nobody cared if you were different.
She said,
We were all finding ourselves and cheering each other on.
here's a lighthearted moment, she said once a cop stopped her. But instead of a ticket, he asked for a ride to the next town. That's the kind of boldness that defined the era. Freedom isn't just a right, it's a practice. At any age, you can try new things, explore who you are, and live authentically. That bold 60s spirit is timeless. What's one way you like to express yourself? Share your story below. Family, retirement, and changing roles. In the 60s, retirement had a script: work hard until 65. Have a party and settle into golden years surrounded by family. Multi-generational households were common, and family ties ran deep. Today, families are more spread out. Retirement is less certain. Some keep working, others start new careers or projects. Independence is valuable, but it can feel lonely too. A retired teacher told me she expected leisure, but found her real joy teaching kids to read at the local library.
I thought life slowed down,
She said.
but it just opened up in new ways.
Funny thing she said, her grandkids now think she's the coolest librarian ever, which she credits to sneaking candy during story time. Purpose doesn't end when the paycheck stops. Whether through work, volunteering, or simply being present for loved ones, we can fill these years with meaning and connection. What brings you purpose? I'd love to hear. Carrying the best of both worlds. So, what did we gain and what did we lose? From the 60s, we had warmth, connection, slower living, and a sense of community. Today, we've gained freedom, technology, longer lives, and more possibilities than ever before. The truth is, we don't have to choose one era over the other. We can take the best of both the kindness and simplicity of the past, the opportunities of the present, and weave them into how we live now. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. What do you miss most about life in the 60s? What do you love most about life today? Share your memories in the comments below. I read every single one. And if this conversation touched your heart, hit subscribe and join this growing circle of stories, reflections, and wisdom. Because while decades change, the joy of sharing life, the lessons, the laughter, the love that never goes out of style. Thanks for the time with me. Until next time, take care and keep connecting.